Hello everyone, my name is Ernest Ondera and welcome again to another episode of Quick Fix latest news and detailed information about cars. Today we are bringing to you information about vehicle transmission maintenance. This Jeep came to the workshop with some transmission issues, which included failing to shift into gear, jerky shifts when moving from one gear to another, loss of power especially on inclines, and struggling when going up slopes. And we had to do some diagnosis and mechanical inspection to ascertain the cause. Normally such problems occur due to poor car maintenance. And on this one we noticed some serious transmission leaks underneath. And given the mileage, the transmission needed service. So before we get to service, did you know that no one component in your car has more going in inside it than your transmission? There are many different types of transmissions, and modern vehicle transmissions use a lot of combinations of sophisticated hydraulics and computer control electronics components to transfer engine power to the drive shaft and the wheels. And most modern drivers remain unaware of these complex systems until something goes really bad. Without a doubt, your vehicle transmission is the most complicated and least understood system in your car. Have you ever wondered what kind of transmission your car or truck has under the hood? Well, we at Quick Fix Auto Services will take you through the journey to understand your vehicle transmission and how to take care of it for proper car maintenance. Knowing your vehicle transmission type is essential to optimize upkeep, reduce service costs, and make an informed decision before purchasing any car. But this is often easier said than done without the experienced eye of a transmission specialist. Before you can determine your transmission specifications, you'll need to know the basics. And a great place to start is to locate your vehicle's owner's manual. In many cases, the manual may indicate what type of transmission you have, or else it may refer to both a manual and standard transmission option. What you need to do, you can open the driver's side door and look for a white placard with a small black lettering. This card contains specific details about the year the car was made, its transmission, engine specifications, and other details. Also, the transmission fluid type can be easily found written on your transmission dipstick. Also, you need to remember, never mix your transmission fluid with any other apart from the one recommended by the manufacturer of the car. Most transmission services are carried out every 60,000 kilometers, but you need to confirm with your vehicle's manual for transmission service interval. Next, it's important to understand what type of transmission your vehicle is using. A car transmission is one of the most important components of a vehicle. It moves the power from the engine to the wheels. There's a variety of car transmission. The process varies depending on the type of transmission. But what does a transmission do? Transmission in a vehicle enables the gear ratio between the drive wheels and the engine to adjust the car speed from slowing down and speeding up. When a vehicle is stopped, the transmission disconnects the engine from the drive wheels so that the engine can keep idling when the wheels are not in motion. Transmissions also enable quick acceleration from a stop and enable the engine to run slowly to cut down on wear, while the vehicle is driving at a consistent speed. There are four main types of transmissions that we generally see, and you could have some experience with some than others. Now, here are the different types of transmissions. There are pros and cons of each of them. And in broadly speaking, there are 1, manual transmission, 2, automated manual transmission, AMT, 3, intelligent manual transmission, IMT, 4, automatic transmission, 5. Continuous variable transmission CVT, 6. Semi-automatic transmission, and 7. Dual clutch transmission. And to understand the manual transmission, manual transmissions have a clutch pedal and a shifter which the driver uses to change the gears manually. This type of transmission consists of a set of gears along a pair of shafts called the input and output shafts. With a manual transmission, the driver has to select the proper gear and engage or disengage the clutch pedal. The transmission uses a flywheel, pressure plate, and a clutch to engage and disengage the engine from the transmission. The flywheel and the pressure plate are connected to the engine. The clutch is sandwiched between them and splined to the transmission input shaft. The term push in the clutch means to release the pressure plate, which disengages the clutch from the engine. Every time you make a shift, you have to push in the clutch first. The advantages or the pros of manual transmissions are: 1 is better for off-road and high torque load usage. It's reliable and easier to service, and maintain and repair are not very costly. The disadvantage is not everyone can drive, which means lower resale and higher learning curve. More work is required driving a manual transmission. Intelligent manual transmission, simply put, is the IMT, is a clutchless manual transmission. It's just a regular manual gearbox but without a clutch pedal. In situations like coming down a slope or overtaking, you have a full control over the gearbox, and this is of course without the headache of operating the clutch pedal. You don't need to lift off the accelerator when shifting gears. It will help smooth things if you do, and intelligent manual transmission cannot shift gear automatically. The benefit of this transmission is that in this way you have a complete control over what gear your car is in, and you don't have to rely on the software getting it right. Another advantage is that the cost of an intelligent manual is also closer to that of a regular manual transmission. The main drawback of an intelligent manual transmission is that the gear shifts are not normally smooth, as the system relies on a single clutch that has to be modulated by an actuator. Automated manual transmission. Mechanically similar to a manual transmission, except that the sensors and the actuators perform the clutch work and shift gears. A car with automated manual transmission does not have a clutch pedal. There's only the accelerator and the brake pedal. This transmission also allows manual gear shifts when needed by pushing forward the gear lever for upshift and pulling it backwards for downshift. Automated transmissions usually uses hydraulics and computers linked with the electronic control unit or ECU of the car. The gear shift patterns are pre-programmed on this unit and work mainly on the preset revolution per minute range. Once the system gauges the optimum revolution per minute, the ECU engages the actuators which operates the clutch and the gearbox. A significant benefit of automated manual transmission or AMT is its convenience. Since operating the clutch is not part of the driver's task, it reduces fatigue and more fuel efficient. It allows more of engine's energy to flow to the wheels. On the other hand, since automated manual rely on a preset RPM, they can be very difficult sometimes to operate. Then we have automatic transmissions. The very basic knowledge that everyone has that automatic transmission changes gear automatically and doesn't need a gear stick or a clutch operation by the driver is that the engine connects to a torque converter, which is then connected to a gear system and then to the transmission. A torque converter is a vital component of an automatic transmission. Inside the torque converter, there are parts that work in tandem with each other. The outermost side has the flywheel, which is connected to the engine, and it rotates the entire structure. The rotation makes the pump push out the fluid at a high speed. This fluid makes the turbine rotate. The fluid keeps on rotating, separated in two sections, and it's kept rotating with the help of a stator in the middle. The turbine is connected to the shaft, which connects to the rest of the system, and then the energy is transferred to the gear system. Then we have planetary gear system. In a planetary gear system, a star is followed around by the planets and rotates around it at respective speeds. The gear system is called planetary gear system, which consists of a gear in the middle called the sun gear and the three gears around it called planetary gears, which are covered by a ring gear. The planetary gears are smaller than the sun gear. The speed at which the sun gear rotates will be slower than the planet gear, making the ring gear rotates faster than the sun gear. These parts in combination make an automatic transmission. Pros of automatic transmissions are it is easy to use and very comfortable driving. And the disadvantage of automatic transmission is that many different items can fail and is too expensive to repair if broke compared to manual transmission. Then we have continuous variable transmission, which is called CVT. Continuous variable transmissions are also called CVTs. These are pulley-based transmissions that are primarily used in small vehicles with small engines. This type of transmissions have been used for years in snow machines and are also become more popular in hybrid vehicles recently. The CVTs offer similar driving experience to an automatic transmission, but operates using a completely different mechanism. In fact, it doesn't have gears at all. Instead, it uses a system of belts and pulleys to produce an infinite range of ratios. The computer fitted in these cars decide how to adjust the pulleys to create the optimal ratio for the particular driving situations. This system consists of cones at each pulley connected by a chain belt. The cones can move to increase or decrease the belt diameter to change gear ratios. One pulley is connected to the engine and the other directs power to the wheels. The width of these pulleys changes based on the needed power, so as one gets larger, the other gets smaller. This allows the CVTs to deliver strong and seamless acceleration. And here are the pros and cons of continuous variable transmission. It offers smooth ride because it eliminates feeling of shifting. It's got great fuel efficiency because the engine is always running efficiently. Faster response to a change in driving conditions. The cons or disadvantage of variable transmission is that it's unusable in off-road conditions. No ability for engine braking seen in manual transmissions. Then we have semi-automatic transmissions. This is a clutchless manual transmission that provides an alternative to its automatic or manual counterparts. This transmission is practically identical to a manual one. In a typical manual vehicle, the driver steps on the clutch pedal. When they want to change gears, the clutch pedal is connected to the transmission through cables and pipes. In semi-automatic, there is no clutch pedal. Instead, there is a computer that uses processors and sensors to automatically depress the clutch. When the driver signals by shifting the gear stick, the vehicle computers manages engine torque, speed, accelerator pedal position, and other functions. Driving a semi-automatic car would feel very similar to a manual drive, except that you don't have to press on the clutch pedal to change the gears. Although semi-automatic have things in common with other typical transmissions, they are also very different with their own set of benefits and drawbacks. The pros and cons of semi-automatic transmissions are: the pros is shifting smooth compared to manual. Less efficient in shifting means no lag time or slippage. The cons of semi-automatic transmission is it's a complex system, and when failed can be very expensive to repair compared to manual. Often it's cost effective to replace the entire system. Then we have dual clutch transmission. In a dual clutch transmission, there are separate clutches for both odd and even gears, which allows for incredibly fast shift. This gearbox can generally operate in a fully automatic mode or manually shifted with pedals on the steering wheel. Semi-automatic and dual clutch transmissions offer cutting-edge performance with lightning fast gear changes that a poor manual just cannot match. Currently, these gearboxes are mainly found in race cars, sport cars, and high-end sport cars, and are quite expensive. This disadvantage is magnified by the extreme complexity, which leads to more frequent and costly repairs. So carrying out the transmission service first is to ensure that the vehicle is lifted on a ramp or a service pit. Then you have to prepare service parts, and this includes transmission fluid, and always check with your car manufacturer recommendation about the type and quantity needed. Then the transmission harness. They will need a pan gasket and oil filter. You will need to open the drainage plug or alternatively unscrew the oil pan bolts and let the oil drain into the container. As you can see, the transmission oil is coming out from this vehicle is very dirty and seems service was overdue, and probably has the transmission problems that it had. After draining the dirty transmission fluid, you need to clean the valve body area thoroughly with a clean cloth. Then wash the pan and clean it properly. Then fit the oil filter and harness seal and mount the pan and its gasket securely, and tighten the bolts hexagonally sequenced to recommended stock. These bolts are small, and over-tightening them will damage the bolts, and to replace is sometimes very costly. When it comes to filling transmission fluid, use a pump little by little and checking the dipstick to avoid underfill or overfill. Check the measure levels on the dipstick. Once done, let it run for about 10 minutes and check the level again with the dipstick when hot, and top up accordingly if needed as per the dipstick mark. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share, and hope to see you again in another episode of Quick Fix latest news and detailed information about cars. Thank you very much.